Hello everyone and welcome on into this wild presentation of the GSA. My name is Gibson. I am joined by the one, the only, Whippet, and we are going to take you through all of this wild action.
I can't wait to dive into this. We're going to be providing the English casting coverage for WYLDE's run in GSL, an org that we're going to in particular keep a close eye on. An Irish org, two Irish casters, we couldn't resist.
Oh, I'm so excited. And not only that, we got to follow this org through their, inception in Yukon. They did so well over the course of their first few seasons, and then they made the switch over to GSA. They're in the hunt for CL. They're in the hunt to try make EUL by the end of this year. And I know for a fact there's a lot of excitement about this roster.
Oh, there is. WYLDE, since the switch from Yukon over to GSL, have put a massive investment into this roster, and I think there's a massive potential here. We've got Corey, BZ, Aces, Gisela, J. Two names that you're going to easily pick out are going to be Aces and Corey. Aces just finishing a run at Rogue, now making the switch over to WYLDE to help elevate this team and get them that CL spot, as well as Corey, also a veteran of Rogue back in the day, but really a solid team, massive tier 1 experience, and both those players coming in. Gisela, J, BZ as well, they've been knocking around inside T3, they know how it's done, and I think now this team's really starting to fill that role. Finally getting experience to match gun skill, to match strategy. They are a force to be reckoned with right now.
Oh, they definitely are. And whenever Corey and Aces is on your team, you've always got a chance. Those two players, they've got CL experience. They've been to SIs. They've been to majors. They know exactly what they're doing. And the players that they've kept on from the Yukon Rainbow Rumble, BZ, Gisela, and Jay, they were very impressive as well. WYLDE were one of those teams that there was very high hopes of as they came into Rainbow Rumble, and they definitely performed, especially in the group stages.
They did. They were actually very solid in the group stages, making it through into that playoff stage. Unfortunately, their matchup against Viperio 86, they just fell short in that semi-final matchup, but they couldn't make the final run inside of Rumble. But we see WYLDE. We see this fantastic roster. Let's take a look at who they'll be facing in today's matchup. Team ENYX is the team of choice, and this is going to be a lot of familiar names you've been following around with Expo, Madman, Zoom, Draven, MX. This is a very stacked roster. My eyes are instantly drawn to Zoom, a player I've watched develop through that Benelux scene, has absolutely a sky-high ceiling. Some of the best mechanics I have seen. You can make comparisons to players like Spoit when he comes to June, but fantastic. And of course, so much experience around the rest of this roster with Madman, massive experience inside of the UK scene. Expo as well. Draven, a familiar face, of course. Everyone on this team, on ENYX, is going to be very strong. And can WYLDE just get over that edge? This is going to be a very close contest between these teams.
Yeah, I think when you look at both these rosters, we can both agree the ceiling is incredibly high. The big thing, though, for every single team when it comes to competitive Rainbow Six Siege is how high can you get that floor as well? Because the ceiling, every player is mechanically gifted. You don't get to this level without having that God-given natural talent. But Whippets, keeping that floor high, keeping so the performance levels never dip below a certain level, that's what you need to do if you want to make it to the very highest level.
Yeah, it's consistency. You need to be a team that on every single play day, you're optimizing the amount of points you can get. If you have a bad day, you start off and the first split goes wrong, you need to be able to have that damage limitation. And we've seen other teams in top flight competitions struggle with that consistency, and they've fallen off and they've not got results that perhaps people expected. For WYLDE right now, with this massive roster, this massive change and a swap to a different region, they have to have consistency. Be on it every single week. And I think they have the potential to do so, and I really hope they can execute upon that.
Yeah, and this is the opportunity to get that season up and running. They're taking on Team ENYX in game number 1 of GSA, and Whippet, this could be the start of a big season for both of these teams. We are going to Villa. This is one of my favorite maps because it's another one of those ones where those sneaky little roamers, Aces, Corey, guys like that, they can just compound misery on the other team as they traverse through all 3 floors, causing havoc.
It's a very interesting map, I will say. It's one of the last brand new developed, not reworked maps to enter the competitive pool, and we'll be seeing our ban phase roll out. I wouldn't be too shocked if we'll see a Thatcher first to go, followed by a Hard Breach, And let's all act very surprised. The current climate of Rainbow Six Siege, of course, leans to that Thatcher being banned away. The EMP gadget in his back pocket is useful for clearing not only wall denial, but anything else like Evil Eyes, Malusi's, even a Capcan trap. So massive benefits. So taking those EMPs away is a massive benefit at the start stage in the ban phase. And WYLDE have took away Finka. No LMG, no nano boost, no Gone 6, and 2 sets of grenades off the board. A massive ban from them.
Yeah, Fink is a ban that I think is becoming more and more common. That LMG causes havoc, like you said, and nades are always good to get rid of that utility. Mira's going to get taken out on the other side. This is a map where Mira can be incredibly powerful, so that's another good ban by WYLDE. The final map, I'm expecting the likes of a Kate or a Valk, but Whip It, we're casters. We have been proven wrong before, but this time we get the Valk ban, so thankfully I can breathe easy. We've got our 4 bans, and that's going to lay out what we're going to see.
Normally, you would say you'd expect a hard breach to go after that Thatcher or a Kaid as well, but seeing a Finka removed, that's, I think, what we're going to see a lot of teams start to go with. WYLDE, a very smart choice, because when you pull away an operator that's in the meta right now, Finka is undeniably one of the strongest offensive operators in the game. You pull away an LMG, or if you want to use a spear through it, that's a damn good rifle as well, and you take away 2 nades, a Gone 6, and the ability to heal mid-round. Lots of teams have got used to that ability to get into a scrappy fight at the start and not pay the ultimate price because they can top themselves up every 35 seconds. We've been jumping in now on AVG, the very first site of choice from Team ENYX. It's been the default for many years here on Villa, and no surprise they're opting to go here first.
Yeah, and the AVG attack is one that everybody knows how to perform as well. The only difference is which way are WYLDE going to do it. With that attack and setup they're bringing, they've got Dokkaebi, they've got Zofia, they have got Flores, Sledge, and Iana. They have 2 choices, but the 2 main choices. Do you A, go in through Master Bedroom, clear the map all the way through Trophy, and take 90 corridor? Or do you B, make your way in through that balcony, force into study, breach that wall, and just cause mayhem in the site? But I am excited. The players are ready, the map is ready, and the round has begun.
Corey's on the Flores, so those are tower drones. He can drive them into the objective and clear utilities such as shields. And, I mean, essentially, it's the most versatile operator on the entire lineup. You can do vertical, you can do anything you want with those drones as they detonate. And Zoom is looking to get a little bit spicy inside of walk-in here. Playing close to that single window. A single stray shot through it. It might just end his round early, but he's being cautious. His drone spots him out, and now he has to try and make a dart and dash inside a master bedroom. All his windows open. He's going to be already finding himself fighting inside a bit of a barrel, and Jay with an LMG will find it. Zoom first to be slain. Not an ideal start for Team ENYX, but that's going to be a massive amount of control gained. Jay now on very low HP, and I touched on, they can't get that HP back. No Fink on the board, so good opening so far for WYLDE.
Yeah, great start to the round for them. 1 minute gone. They've already gotten rid of one of those roamers as they start to take control of this whole northern section of the map, pushing in through Master Bedroom. Back on the drone is the defense, because Mozzie, of course, can use those little sneaky pests to pester the opposition by finding out their location. Expo, he's been exposed as he falls back into that vault as well. So all of these members of Team ENYX, they're starting to turtle back. They've given up a little bit of control, but with a minute and a half left on the clock, there's plenty of time to play with, especially whenever Madman can take out aces.
Well, now they know that that roam presence is there, and that's just going to be playing the back of the mind. That's a C4 down below, and Madman, very experienced, will be able to play and optimize massively the effect down below he can have. And so at 19 now, we'll see that mute trying to tap away, and SMG-11 at this range is not ideal, and an interesting choice of holo, but it's not common you see a Cybertruck holo mounted on that SMG-11. However, BZ creeps up close to the map's door, a DMR in his hand, a splashbang sent out to burn away utility. That will announce his presence, but no one's holding B site directly. They've all fallen back deep inside a bar. Expo the closest to it, and that's going to be side of Vault. Well, Jay will find a second now up by the window and study. 4 versus 3, under a minute now, but Expo pops up with that M4 or that carbine in his hand. Finds one BZ traded, no Dokkaebi on the cards, no more calls as Madman now creeps up all the way by statue. He might be able to make an impact on this flank. Is anyone watching? No, they're not. He creeps around. Does he see the silhouette? He finds it, and that's GSA down and the case drop just outside the red stairs.
3v2 with 30 seconds almost left on the clock, but there's Corey this time finding the head of Expo. They're inside sight, but they don't have the diffuser. The smoke's going to force Jay back into study, and all of a sudden, this seems an insurmountable mountain to climb. Draven just laying down the pain with those little fuse bays, but another one is going to come out as Jay drops 2. It's a 2v1, it's a 1v1 as Corey takes control of the site, but the last remaining members falling down red stairs. It's Madman in the 1v1, and Corey grabs the diffuser, sprints to site, goes for the plant, but Madman surely just going to climb up these stairs, get ready to swing around the corner, and he says GN to Corey as ENYX win round 1.
Down to the wire, fine margins there. WYLDE just, unfortunately, the GSA went down because of Madman's roam presence, and I touched on it when Madman got the opening. Down below, you have to be cautious of that. No flank zones, no control, no one watching. Mozzie just came up Astro stairs, I'm going to assume, and was able to absolutely destroy that push with that one pick defuse, or that case dropped on the top of red stairs. Left WYLDE scrapping for a solution. ENYX hold on, get the very first defensive round, but I will touch on this one thing, and came down to 1v1 right at the end. And if Corey, let's say, had 2 more seconds to work with, that case could have went down. The red pings were there, however, so it would not have been an easy feat. We'll go now to our second site. Statue and trophy brought out by ENYX, and this is a default rotation here on Villa. You're going to see AVG, you're going to see trophy, and we're likely going to go down below next, win or lose for this site. An extension outside of study with the Kaid helping to shore up that reinforcement, meaning while we're going to have some problem solving in this round, to be able to ensure that now, actually, verticality setup as well. C4s are going to be a threat from below, so WYLDE, a lot of things to solve in this round.
Yeah, exactly, and look, they're an experienced team. They're going to do their due diligence. They're going to drone out. The decision that they have to make, though, once again, is what way do you approach Villa on attack? Do you go for the very linear attack where you push in through master bedroom? Do you flip it around and come in through study? Well, BZ already spawning out over by the stables. He's going to put a little bit of pressure onto that wolf window nice and early. So it looks like they're going to pinch the site from those windows that lead directly into the lion's den. Aces and Gisla, they're together, reunited at last, and it feels so good as Aces pushes in the closet. He's getting droned. He's having a look around. Jim is pushing down 90 corridor, trying to find any stragglers that may decide to enter the map through study. But look at this high-octane stuff from Aces as he's pushed in the side already, and he gets the opening kill. Corey will get taken out by Jim on the other side of the map, but already so much control being exerted on the site by WYLDE. Draven falling towards Wolf Window. Is he going to find himself a little bit of a present? No, the LMGE will eat, but it's all down to Gisla. It's a 1v3 whip at 2 minutes on the clock, and it feels like the round has only just started.
It's only just started, but surely we're about to witness it end. 1 versus 3, grenade in hand, surely caught by an ADS, but he'll find 1 with the rifle, can't make it 2. Pulse collects that deep inside of Astro, finds the rounds, 2 in a row now for Team ENYX. But this wasn't a very aggressive push. We saw Aces just deciding to push on in the statue, finds the opening pick, and you gotta look at this. ENYX were very widespread. They decided to hold all the way towards Aviator as well as down below, but the moment that pressure was felt, the moment WYLDE showed their cards, ENYX rotated up. And I have to say, I have massive respect for that level of aggression, seeing that, okay, they spread themselves a little bit thin. They want to hold study as well as down below. Let's just try and take site directly. Didn't work out, but A for effort on that one. Shows that this team's confident. WYLDE's really trusting the calls getting made there, and there was a fine margin. They very nearly pulled it off.
Yeah, and the fight back from ENYX was really impressive too, because for a second it looked like WYLDE were going to take that round by the throat, but they just managed to stay calm, cool, collected, and pick up those opportunities to remove those WYLDE members from the game. 20 seconds to this round starts. We're going to take a little bit of a trip downstairs. This is that rotation that we tend to speak about. They're going to go into kitchen and whip it. This is a site where verticality is king. You got to be able to control Astro. You got to be able to control Trophy and Statue, because if the attackers take over that section of the map, especially with the fact that they've got those nades, they've got Sledge and Buck, that can cause a lot of problems.
Nades are somewhat of a very common occurrence right now. You really have to be cautious of them. 6 nades on the board, of course. 3 ops bringing them. Sets of 2 as well. If you're getting caught out with nades, especially when you have a Jaeger emplacement set up as well, it's not going to be too keen. Juma, source of that damage yet unknown. I don't want to imagine it came from a drone hole. It looks like there was an explosion just outside of it, so perhaps a nade tossed in, and yeah, well, Jay has lost one of those nades in his inventory, so I'd imagine it was sent through that small drone hole, and found a little bit of damage, but perhaps not the wisest use of investment unless it cleared utility off that staircase. Draven primed and ready, looking dead towards China. Jay will find the opening. That's Expo. And once again, Wild look to be very direct here, straight inside of Laundry, wasting no time at all. Aces elevates himself up, but no, he might have raised his head level, but can't win that fight. Yellow pings are there. Mix has to be very aggressive here, but Flashbang sent out, and he's going to be forced back, but that wall can get opened up quite easily. Actually, no, the Mute Jammer stopping that for the time being, so Wild, while yes, once again, try for that aggressive play, they've somewhat been stalled out, met by aggression on the side of Team ENYX, and right now, it's all about solving problems as one more grows, we lose BZ, and now things start to get a little bit tricky for Wild.
Yeah, they got the open and pick again, but once again, they could not make any inroads on it. It's a 3v4 with 1:30 left on the clock. Pulse can be a danger for any team. He's just pinging out, letting those teammates know exactly where this push is coming from. Corey, he's repositioned. He's sneaking up through those pantry stairs. He's looking into kitchen. Let's see if he's going to find the chef or if he's going to get kicked out. Couple of shots sprayed. Jay on the swing will get a king on to Mexus, but Draven with that maestro is just holding that line. Alda go Burr, but Corey Burr harder as Draven will be the next to fall. Gets rid of that Maestro cam as well, just denying intel to the attack or the defendant side. Jay gets the triple, baby. It's a 2v1, and all of a sudden, Wild look like they may be about to take their first round.
It's all done a madman now. Defuse will go down surely now, so 40 seconds, so we hit critical in this round. Gives a wonderful power position behind the table, flipped in the middle of the site. L85 primed and ready. Madman boosts up, looks for a head, but nothing's there. Spots the player in Memorial. A difficult brawl, but everyone's going to be so tentative. You have to hold now. You can't take a single risk. You want to let the timer do the work if you're on the side of Wild, and that's exactly what they'll do. No risk as Madman gets all the way. Vaults on over. Finds one, the Gisela. Surely not. Surely he can't find this one. A long rotation all the way as he's thinking there's some threat from arriving from China, but no, Jay will hold fast deep outside of Memorial, I should say, and tapping away his Madman. He might just stick this one out. He might try it. He's going to go for it, but no, Jay quicker runs around the corner, finds that kill, and that is going to be Wild. Their very first round here on Villa.
Well, that was a very close margin. He was so close to pulling off that defuse. But there was Johnny on the spot, swinging with a second left on the clock as he managed to deny that defuse. It's a 2-1. It's that 2-1 split you expect to see after the first 3 maps as we resume normal service, moving up to AVG. And last time we came here, Wild managed to bring it down to a 1v1. They got site control, but they were not able to keep an eye on the flank from Madman. He snuck up all the way through Trophy, swung around the corner, took the kill, got the diffuser, and that just made things very difficult for Wild. Are we going to see the definition of insanity here, Whippet, or are Wild going to just change things a little bit?
I think you're going to make some changes here. I think the big thing is watch the flanks. That's going to be a massive priority, and as I say that, look at Corey. He's going to pick away from the IQ on the Nomad. Those air jabs locking down an area. If you walk to their radius, they detonate with an airburst, sending your operator flying. You lose control for 1.5 seconds, so you leave yourself vulnerable if that's the case. They have Mozzie once again. Madman's on it, hunting for drones, not opting to steal that one, just removing information. As you say so many times inside of Siege, information is king. And every drone you take away could be a make-or-break moment for that player or this team. So Jay's on the IQ, not an op we see a whole lot of right now in the current climate. Villa might be the one use case, though. You can say it's a pretty acceptable operator. Most of these floors, if not all of them in key power areas, are soft, so IQ can go down below or up above and clear away key utilities such as mute jammers, ADSs, you name it, they can clear it from down below as well. If you do have that pulse, you do risk getting detected, but not this time. Team ENYX have moved away from that FBI operator. Once again, Meg's trying to get a little bit aggressive, looking aware of that drone position. C4 primarily ready to lob it over that master bedroom triple wall. No one's yet entered, though. I think Wild are going to be cautious of that opening above the wall. Yeah, you got to be careful. And just that wall being opened as well and having it happen like that is just going to stall the attack out, because there's only one reason
in the world why the attack or why the defending side would open up that line of sight. Speaking of opening up, Madman opens up a couple of holes in Gisela as he is going to get taken out. It's a 5v4. Jim, we've called it out. He's one of those amazingly talented fraggers, but he's going to get fragged out by the vastly experienced aces. They've pushed into sight, or they've pushed into trophy. Oh my God, I am very tired. They've pushed into trophy, and they've gotten rid of that roamer. But look at this. Those attackers, they have now got access to those defensive cameras.
Well, those cameras are now going to be able to get used by the offensive side, as well as that call sent up by Dokkaebi. The pocket, or the phones in every pocket of those defenders rings away. And I think they were trying to set that up with the IQ, because you can see those phones when they ring, and when you're trying to remove that call, that long animation gets brought up. IQ can see that. Didn't quite work out. No one was in position to make that work. SMG11 taps away and just finds a little bit of damage to Corey. Not sure you want to anger the beast, though, as he seems to make his way over, not wanting that damage go unpunished, as he'll now likely go and put some pressure on Study Balcony and or the window. Mixer's going to play close on this doorway, might hear the repel and does so. Not looks the right way, however. Corey now repels on up, and that's going to be the pressure from the window. He just has to be careful here. Top main stairs, a power position. He want to hold on to this as long as possible. WYLDE still have some areas to clear, but time not on their side. They need to make something happen and only have 40 seconds to make that work.
Yeah, and there is Mix as he's doing that time delay job on main stairs. The SMG11 is a killer at this sort of range. You spoke about long range. This is the sweet spot. He's holding his angle. He's waiting for the push from WYLDE. WYLDE are setting up. They've got a 2-2 split coming on in. Two players pushing from one side as BZ pushes in the sight. The execute's coming in. Aces gets the kill. He gets the no triple as he takes Madman out, and it's all down to Draven. Spotted out through the soft wall. Corey fades away, fades his head out of existence as WYLDE level things up at 2-2.
What I'm going to say is Corey, Aces, the MVP of that round. Down below denies Madman. A C4 could have ended all hopes of a WYLDE execution going successfully, as the Mozzie down below is always a threat you've got to be concerned about. So well played from Aces, having the awareness, and that's the adaptation. They knew that Madman was on the roam last time. They didn't give him an option with the air jabs all placed around the map to come up the Astro stairs, so he was forced to try and play for that C4. And when he tried to play for it, they read into it, denied it. Of course, Corey making an impact, those two kills, clearing the player on, I believe, Expo on that top stairs and be able to push in and get the final kill as well, covering that plant going down. We rotate our sights once again, not opting for Team ENYX to try it again. We want to keep this rotation flowing. Madman consistently picking up on this Mozzie, though. This is something I like to see. Drone deny with those pests to be able to capture them, use them as information for the defensive side as well, and that ever-present C4 down below. Combine that with the pulse, and now things get a little bit sketchy for the side of WYLDE. You have to be careful down below, because you have two C4s and that cardiac sensor waiting to get used. Make it 3 C4s now with that ace, but Expo will likely play on site with it. So WYLDE have to be cautious of it, and they have the IQ to do so. So IQ Corey can just use that scanner on her wrist to look on through the floor, and if that pulse opens that gadget, it will get spotted on that scanner, and he might be able to find that floor bang as well.
Oh, we've seen some interesting things in the past with what happened whenever IQ and Pulse are playing in the same lobby. And, you know, whenever it happens, Pulse always goes for the first mode. He's like, wait, hacker? What? How did he know? And then it's like, it was an IQ. But it happens so many times. Whipping it on a map like Villa, it can be incredibly powerful. WYLDE, they're setting up that attack to push in through Story Draven, placing that shield in the corner of Astro so he can keep those beautiful lines of sight in the bathroom. Keep an eye on Astro stairs and even see in to Statue if needs be. But Whip It, Jay wasting no time. 45 seconds on the clock and he's already pushed right on into Aviator and he's having a look towards sight.
Looks to get very aggressive here, and this is what I like to see. This is WYLDE playing with a massive level of confidence. They know that there's going to be a threat down below, but they're opting to go a little bit more direct. They have something set up to try and put pressure on it, and Corey just existing here is massive in the cross. Oh no! Jay will find it. The pulse in DB, and oh, BZ will get one to Doom, and things are going to go all sour now for the time of ENYX. Madman has to force up and get aggressive. Corey's in his proximity, but no one's there now, and that's going to be more as everyone floods the site now. No matter what you have set off on that roam presence is not going to work. 3 seconds till that bomb goes down. 1 minute 30. Expo will creep around the master bedroom, finds one, gives up his position, but now everything's unraveling from the side of Team ENYX. The defense in shambles. Wild, absolute shock and awe, push in. And Madman now finally back upstairs, pushing in by landing. Expo on by Concrete, but now all alone. Gets one, the BZ, but the trade is there. Aces finds it deep inside of Deer, and that's going to be Wild now leading here on Villa. And a wonderful execution, and once again, confidence in aggression. Wild, that was superb.
Oh, that's another great round. They're not wasting any time. They're getting into the map. They're clearing out those roamers, and they're pushing on the site. They have a 3-2 lead after 5 rounds, and whoop it. In WYLDE's situation now, they have already won their attack phase, in my opinion. If you can get 3 rounds on attack, no matter what way the meta changes, no matter how, with attack or repick, everything that's come involved, I think 3 rounds on attack is a round, or is a phase win, in my opinion. What are your thoughts on that?
It's map dependent, of course. I do feel like on Coastline you'd be hoping for 4 offensive wins, but here on Villa, it does tend to lean to the defensive side. I mean, look at this map, right? The layout. How many rooms, bunker areas, and kind of those filler rooms you have to clear, you're forced to go through. There's no real direct way. There's no external walls that you can use to set up and push directly in the site. So that makes the defense really beneficial. And you have to somewhat play in this aggressive style of WYLDE, or at least it's one alternative, one solution to it. And it's been working out now. 3 rounds, they now lead by 1. Can they put that pressure on? Can they find that 4th? But as you're mentioning, I do see this as a stage win for them in the opening split here.
It definitely is. This round has begun that attacker setup. Oh, they've brought the Osa. They've got Maverick, Ying, Sledge, Aniana. They've got nades for fun. They've got throwables for fun. This is going to be a hard util take whip, but this could be shock and awe from WYLDE as they begin to drone. They've had a look through study. They're beginning to look into sight. There's just 2 defenders back there to hold the line, but Jay gets taken out on the door. So Expo is now caught between a rock and a hard place, but they've pushed into sight. They're being aggressive. WYLDE is going for the plant as BZ sticks it. Diffuser goes down, and it's now a 3v3. 40 seconds on the clock. And Draven has fallen back. Those smokes, they're not going to have too much of an impact anymore because he has to get into the site first. He has to go for the defuse, but Gisela is down. Shotgun sings, shotgun misses, and Madman makes it a 2v1. He's inside study. His position's been given away. There's an upside down repel player as it's down to a 1v1 again. We've seen this script before. Madman in the 1v1. Last time he was able to pull out the round when he jumps out the window. He gets spotted out. He falls to the floor as Corey wins the round. 4-2 split for WYLDE as they go into defense.
That's absolutely massive, and once again, WYLDE, confident and perfectly placed aggression. That is what we love to see. It's fast-paced, it's brilliant siege, realistically, and that's what you want to see. This team is making waves. Everyone's looking at WYLDE right now inside of this league, and they are making an impact here in their opening game. Can they, though, keep this rolling? Can they keep this pace up? Because you've got a whole defensive split to go. This round 7 is often what I call one of the most pivotal in many matchups. If you can make that swap, or if you can hold on, carry momentum through the different stages, this could be big as they opt to not go for the default site rotation. They've chosen to go down below inside of Kitchen, and this might just throw off the offensive side. However, with the addition of attacker repick, it's not going to be as big of an issue as perhaps it once was. And we do see the Osa brought out once again, an operator that I really do feel is kind of getting close to optimal use inside of competitive play. I've seen APAC do some crazy things with Osa. I just wonder when will Europe start getting those shields in play as much?
I think I've seen APAC do some crazy things all the time. They're just that region that are so fun to watch with, but they're as mad as a bag of spiders. There's no other way to put it.
I mean, I honestly couldn't agree more. APAC, I think we can learn from that region a lot, but a C4 spawn peak comes out, and Jay, well, cool as you like with that one. The Captain sends a C4 care package all the way to spawn.
Oh, no.
You lose Draven very early. Double stacked up those Capcan traps. A foot level if you're too cautious, and that's going to be Aces finding one more as well. swings wide, gets the kill, Doom slain, and it looks like WYLDE is going to try and contest Team ENYX everywhere they try to make an entryway, make life an absolute misery. And early in this round, with just under 2.5 minutes left to work with, they already find themselves fighting the back foot in a 5 versus 3.
One hand behind the back, and it's making it very difficult. WYLDE, you speak about competing with teams at the point of entry, but they didn't even let them get to the point of entry. They were wiping them out from range. Madman finally makes an entry into building. Looks like they're going to get set up for this pantry take. The double nomads going down as well means that if they decide to open that hatch and flank around, things are not going to go too well. Corey holding one angle, Jay holding the other. It's a 5v3. It's very important for those members of Team ENYX that they just do their jobs effectively. Don't get panicked. You're 2 men down, so you need to find those 2 picks, but you don't need to be silly with it. You got to place, there's a certain time to play a little bit silly. Whoop it. 1:30 left on the clock's definitely too much time to start making mistakes, and Meeksus bides his time and gets the first kill for Team ENYX, and it's a 4v3.
I'm getting a little bit cautious now, seeing Team ENYX stacking up inside a pantry. This might unravel a while, and you gotta be cautious. Madman now primed and ready. 2x, he can fight these longer positions. ARX, not something you want to mess with either. 2 flashbangs to the back pocket to burn that laser gate as it drops upon his face. Just biding his time. One more pick, and that levels the advantage WYLDE held for so long in this round. Patient moments now. The Osa shield set up inside a laundry. That gives a long line of sight, a long angle. Expo takes some damage. BZ will find one, however. The trade does come out, but that's Madman. Looks for a second, but can't convert it. A nice 2-piece out of unravel this round, but Expo inside of Secret now. Looks to push in the Memorial. Doesn't know where the threat will come from. Pushes deep, and Corey's there. 3 versus 1. Now all on a Madman. An experienced veteran of the UK scene, but what can he do with 44 seconds to work with? All corner box in the pantry. So many angles on the crossfire there. The flashbang doesn't do its job or detonate in time, however. That's going to be the AUG in the hands of Kaid. BZ shuts it down, finds one more, and WYLDE convert an early advantage into a very strong defensive win, locking out that site, and a very strong start to the second stage here.
1 round away from match point already after just 7 rounds played. WYLDE, after a brilliant start from Team ENYX, that's now 5 rounds on the trot. Momentum surely in the hands of WYLDE as they go, and really they're doing the old defensive sites on reverse. Whoop it. They have gone down to kitchen. Now they've gone to trophy statue, which means they're leaving AVG potentially for match point if they can win it out. That defensive setup, though, they've got the smoke, Capcan, Aruni, Jaeger, and Mute, so a lot of intel denial. Capcan, of course, used to be a very good intel operator, but, in the past, the explosions, yes, they did a lot of damage, but more so, it gave you that audio cue as to where the attack was coming from. Now that you can double stack those Capcans, though, he has pretty much become a nightmare for a lot of these players, because as an attacker, you're so focused on finding the defenders that sometimes in the late game you forget about the Capcan traps. You step over that red line, and all of a sudden you're waiting in the waiting room for the next round.
It's the worst feeling. And I think Villa might have some of the most iconic Capcan moments. This is years ago, right? I'm always able to pull out the most obscure references, but while Fabian was still on G2, pulled off a 1 versus 3 clutch, I believe on match point, with Capcan traps, all alone, on the very same site we watch WYLDE defense. I wonder, will that be an impact, of course? And our wonderful R6 share skins popping up there as well. And, this so far from WYLDE, it's been a fantastic performance from them. This is the season opener that you want. They are really showing their strength. And Doom, however, showing his aim. Gisla just exposes ahead for a microsecond and loses it. Jay very nearly finds himself in the grave as well, as Doom seemingly just wants to get this work going, and they're using this Osa to push on it and gather information, acting as basically a pseudo-Montaigne, knowing that they don't want to bring that commitment of a shield up. Bring Osa. You got a gun in the back pocket as well. Madman takes a heap of damage down below, however, and he's going to be in a nasty brawl with that Aruni down below. That's going to be Corey. He looks to convert this damage into a kill, but Madman is going to sit patiently. I think Corey's going to do the same. Not want to over-aggress, not want to give away his life. He falls away. Takes a lot of damage for his effort. He's likely going to want to get back to site and hold on, but he decides to retreat deep inside the kitchen and just hold on for a little bit longer. Madman's on the hunt.
Yeah, Corey's an aggressive player and he doesn't want to back down from a fight, so instead he's just repositioned himself inside that octagon. Elsewhere around the map, Jay holding a long angle down and towards 90. Spots Osa's head, but because it's behind the shield, no damage will be done, and it looks like Whippet, they're about to stack on up in through Trophy and through Deer. Jim gets the kill onto BZ, though it's a 5v3 situation, and two of those wild defenders, the HP not looking too good. Corey and Jay suffering, limping from those early engagements, and now is the opportunity for Team ENYX to get aggressive. Corey still offside. Jay is going to drop. It's a 5v2 as Expo does some damage. But on the flank, here comes Corey wrapping on up. Aces has fallen. Osa with the diffuser. Double kill for... Oh no, it came so close. Corey got wiped, but that was almost an amazing flank, Whippet.
So close. Perhaps the commitment, the finding the confirmation with the pistol unraveled that a little bit. However, you gotta give credit, Corey was very, very patient on that. After a long, prolonged fight down below with Madman, he was able to keep his life intact and ultimately got that flank off. Not quite converting that into a round victory. However, WYLDE still have that 2-round safety net around them, one away from match point as they go back up to Aviator Games now. This is the site that you normally see teams play on. Normally the primary, but finally WYLDE take it their third option, and kind of on the reason perhaps why they're taking it the third option. You gotta look at this team, right? Aces and Corey, massively experienced, T1 experience in top leagues of Europe. They know this site inside and out. This has been the primary since Villa was brought into competitive play. So everyone knows where to counter, how to set it up, what to do to break this down, and how everyone tends to react on it. So you don't want to take that risk. Go to the lesser proven grounds. Perhaps why we saw the downstairs site, the first one brought out.
Yeah, the downstairs site, it's... To be fair, I think the defender win rate whenever you go to kitchen actually isn't that bad compared to the other tertiary sites that we do see inside Siege. The big thing about this site, and this is my opinion, I think attacker repick has really changed AVG as well, because once the attackers realize if it's a really big roaming presence, they can take the likes of Ying. They can go straight to site. The attackers this time, they've brought Ying, they've brought Iana, they have brought themselves Sledge as well. So many nades in the back pocket, and they've literally taken the blueprints that WYLDE set earlier on their attack on the site, and now they're going to try to use it against them.
Vaulting inside a mod, that will be Madman. Just curious what the intention of this play is going to be. You have one set of nades down below, so up nades are going to be kind of a very, very prevalent threat. Madman might be able to find success with those. You got to consider lots of power positions. Well known, and June will find the opening once again. Previous round, June found the opening, and they were able to capitalize and find the round, so perhaps that might be a good luck omen for them. Wonderful opening for him. June again, a player that I don't think we've seen the max potential of so far in this matchup. Very, very mechanically threatening anyone. And on that, Ying can kind of use that shock and awe strategy, throw in smokes, throw in candelas, and unravel the defensive hold. Corey with a long line of sight with an ACS-12. Not a very common weapon getting brought out in the alibi. One of your favorites, so Gibson. This is the first set of candelas sent on him, but no push to follow it, as Corey will find that one. That's Doom now off the board, and BZ's going to make it 2 now, as things seem to cascade in all in favor of WYLDE. 4 versus 3 in a minute 30 left.
Quick double kill changes the landscape. That ACS-12, the being of Fresh, as it takes his head all the time. Yes, Fresh, I am not sorry. But that ACS-12, it's not, we're all being real, it's not the best gun for both these operators, but it does provide the ability for that one-tap ranged headshot. It's got that automatic rate of fire, firing those slugs on out, but Expo is pushed up on top of main stairs, looking in towards Vault. It's a 4v3 in the defensive favor, so really Team ENYX need desperately to get that next kill, and it might not be too difficult. BZ and Jay, the HP not looking too good, as Expo does take Jay out. It's a 3v3 now, and they've began to drone. 45 seconds on the clock. It's not desperation time just yet. You can still afford to do a little bit of drone work, a little bit of map laying, a little bit of cartography, as they would say, but that smoke is going to prevent any push down through bookshelf. BZ holding the long angle with the SMG-11, repositions himself up on in. The flash grenade comes out, but Corey swings with the ACS-12, and he's going to get another one with some help from Gisela, as Madman pushes in, sprays onto the alibi, sprays onto Corey's head, and it's a 2 versus 1. BZ, low HP, Gisela, full HP. Madman, does he have any Utility lefty. He has no drones, he has no nades, but he does have the diffuser. 1 second on the clock, and surely that's another round one for Wild, as BZ will just step on in, and all credit to Madman. You know, a lesser player would have stopped the plant when they heard the footsteps, but he committed. He took his L like a man.
Pros don't fake, Gibson. You gotta stick it out. You gotta try and hold it on as long as you can. So, match point for Wild, and so far the story of this matchup has been pretty solid. Experience, aggression, and perfect timing. Wild have played it fantastically. ENYX have had their moments, however, and they're very much showing that if given the opportunity, given an opening, they can cause some serious damage. Wild cannot take this easy. And I always look when teams have a lead of 3 rounds in particular. There's a bit of a 6-3 curse inside of Siege. You can lose this situation very easily. Wild cannot and should not fall into that 1 more round mentality. Because if you do and just assume it's 1 more round, we've got a safety net of 3 rounds. You might get sloppy, you might make mistakes. You cannot do that right now. Opening game, you want to set an impact and a 3-2-1 scoring system in place, meaning you want to win this within 12 rounds to get all 3 points. Overtime, of course, meaning that everyone's going to get a split of the points. If Wild win in overtime, they get 2, and then ENYX will get 1. It's the same if you flip that around. So now they've guaranteed themselves at a minimum 1 point. They need to convert that to 3.
Yeah, they're going to want to just win those points as soon as possible. It's match point. You want to end this right away. You spoke about the 6-3 being a delicate lead, regardless of how one-sided it looks. I agree. It's a bit like a 2-0 lead in football, but complacency can kick in very easily. And once complacency does kick in, it becomes very, very difficult to pull back that mental. The C4 has been prepped. I'm not quite sure if it was thrown. Looks like they've still got all the C4s in hand. So Jay decided not to throw it. But look at Mex as he's already coming up to the summit of the top of Red Stairs. He spots out one of those defenders, Gisla, playing inside Aviator, but he turns away at the wrong time as Corey wipes him out. It's a 5v4 situation now for Wild, pushing for perfection in game number 1. They want all 3 points, and they're going to potentially do it as they put ENYX down to 3 players. That air jab goes off just a little bit too late to help out the attack inside. Jim pushing in now. He's by Zombie. He's looking inside, getting ready to have another look, but Corey wipes him out. But it's a 5v2, and surely there's no way that Wild lose this game.
Oh, I wouldn't get too... Oh, well, maybe now. Maybe now it's all opened up as Jay finds the C4 to Draven, leaving Expo in a 1v5 all alone. And Wild, the tails are up and they're going hunting. They're going to do it perfectly as Jay swings from Vault and finds Expo. Wild take the victory inside of regulation 7-3. And they win their opening matchup on an MVP. Corey, without a question. Stellar performance from a player you would expect it from. One of those big names to the roster, one of those huge additions that they hope will get them in the CL and maybe even the heights of EUL. A wonderful opening of this season. Corey, take a bow for that one.
Yeah, and that was a great performance. 15-6. Great KD to start off his GSA season. Elsewhere, I want to point out that Jay +2 on the entry as well. That is such a big deal. And that's something I noticed time and time again with, but I think nearly every single site that we went to, it looked to me like Wild got that opening pick.
There was 2 we witnessed that June was able to find the opening pick in a row. Once it's Sophia pushing and he got Gisla early. Then we saw him find the opening with Ying. Normally you see an opening pick tend to favor the defense more, but when June got it, it was a 50-50. When we saw that it was I'm awful for forgetting team names after the end of the game. Once they were able to get it, it seemed like a 50-50. If Wild got the opening pick, it seemed like they were just able to assert dominance from it. They were able to play off that perfectly, and I'll touch on it time and time again. There's so much experience in this roster. Aces and Corey bring that kind of bedrock to a team. They've played so much at the top level of competitive play. They're only going to elevate the rest of this roster to that level, and so far, they look like a fantastic team.
They really do. And starting off your season with a win is vitally important. We've seen it come into effect. Yes, it's not the end of the world if you lose your first game, but if you can just get to the top of the leaderboard and just keep winning, keep stacking those wins, CL will surely be something that Wild can achieve. But game number 1 is down.